Katie Price, Exploiting Harvey. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The child or children of the narcissist are simply little mirrors that are there to be exploited by that narcissist with the pursuit of the prime aims. They are not recognized as people in their own right, but simple extensions of the narcissist, owned and possessed by the narcissist to be controlled, and their achievements are commandeered by the narcissist for the greater aggrandizement of the empire of that narcissist. The child is used as a stepping stone to get to former intimate partner primary sources where relationships have founded. The child is used because they are easy to control. They will provide fuel, but they are often part of a triangulation with other people in order to control them and draw fuel. The narcissist invariably believes that they do love their children, but because they are a narcissist, they are incapable of doing so, and they're blinded to that by their narcissism. And once again, we have car crash narcissist Katie Price, who regularly exploits her son, Harvey. Now, if you're not familiar with who Harvey Price is, he was the first child that Katie Price had when she had a liaison with the former footballer Dwight York. York demonstrated what a unpleasant human being he is by abandoning his child and has had nothing to do with him. I'm not sure whether he was ever obligated to provide any financial support, but he has had no involvement in his son's life whatsoever. He turned his back on him. Katie Price continued to look after him, which of course has caused many people to be sympathetic to her because she didn't deserve Harvey and she continued to look after him. However, she has only done so because he serves a useful purpose to her, and over the recent years this has become all the more prevalent as she has utilized Harvey as a tool from which she can engender support, sympathy, admiration, and to make money from. Nobody knows whether Harvey is in agreement to being used in this way, whether he actually has capacity to agree to it anyway as a consequence of some of the issues that he has. Harvey Price has autism, which, as you know, is a developmental disorder that affects social interaction and communication. He also has Prader-Willi syndrome, which is a rare genetic condition characterized by chronic overeating, which is why he is obese, and it also means that he has learning difficulties. He also has septo-optic dysplasia, which is a congenital disorder that affects the development of the brain and eyes, causing partial blindness. So Harvey has been dealt a rather difficult set of cards in his life. Now, there are some that think, well, isn't Katie Price a wonderful mum because she's continued to look after him? But like any narcissist, this support for her son is only being done because she gets something out of it, which is to utilize him as a prop. And through her social media, we have seen her time and time again posting pictures of her, which have often caused people to comment that it's inappropriate. For instance, lying in bed with her son, where she's semi-naked and he's almost entirely naked. And people don't deem that to be appropriate behaviour. But of course, her with her lack of boundary recognition and a sense of entitlement does it anyway, because she needs to put it out there in order to draw responses from people by way of fuel. Well, she's at it again, exploiting Harvey for the purposes of the pursuit of the prime aims. Have a look at this.
For you to make my heart
At present, Kerry Katona, who's had her own fair share of car crash moments, and Katie Price have embarked upon an evening with Katie and Kerry, which is doing the rounds in various small towns around the United Kingdom. Lord knows why anybody would want to sit through an evening with those two, but there's no accounting for certain people's taste. Anyway, as you've just witnessed, Kerry Katona, who used to be in the band Atomic Kitten, sings one of their songs, Whole Again, and starts off by turning to Harvey and saying, "Harvey, you still turn me on," which is not entirely appropriate for this older lady to say to Harvey. And furthermore, given the fact that he is an individual that has various challenges. But of course, it's not something that bothers his mother, who hasn't thought ahead and thought, well, you shouldn't really be singing that to my son. We won't use his name in that way. No. She drags Harvey out onto the stage, where he stands there bobbing from side to side to the music. She's holding his hand as she utilises him as a prop. Has Harvey consented to being used in this way? One suspects probably not. It might be that he's not able to provide informed consent to this because he doesn't fully appreciate what's going on. Furthermore, it's not like he's dressed appropriately either, that he comes on wearing some kind of sandals or flip-flops, and that the bottom of his belly is showing. They could have at least tucked his shirt in or caused him to wear something that didn't expose him in that way. And he has his frog hat on, which I understand that he is given to enjoy. But the fact is that it's in effect a freak show. Two car crash women who've had a history of disastrous relationships, that they have been involved in various scandals that have then taken to basically touting their base behaviours around the UK, and that there are some people stupid enough to go and watch them. But Harvey gets dragged into this shit show. Nobody's asked him if he wants to be involved. Somebody ought to be thinking about safeguarding his interests rather than allowing him to be used in this fashion. But Katie Price doesn't care. He's a prop. He is a meal ticket. He's to be used to triangulate with other people so that she can assert control over them, so that they say, oh, isn't she a wonderful mother? That she can then cause people to respond even when they do so negatively, because it's still fuel when they express their outrage about her use of Harvey. And is he making any money from all of this performance? No, it'll be Katona and Price that are doing so. Price stands there grinning away, not seeing that this is actually unfair on her son, that he doesn't fully understand what's going on, and that he is being used as this prop in a song where words are being sung to him which are not entirely appropriate. He bobs along, giving the impression that he's enjoying himself, and Katie Price couldn't give a rat's ass as to the well-being of him. She thinks that she does. She thinks that he's enjoying it. She thinks that this is great that he's being involved. But in actual fact, like many narcissists, she's just using a child for her own purposes without any due consideration for the impact that it may have upon that child, because she doesn't think. Her narcissism doesn't cause her to consider, am I doing the right thing? Is this appropriate that I'm exposing him to this behaviour? Is it right that I'm using him in this way? It never occurs to her. Instead, what she does is she uses him as this prop in her performance, loving the fact that she's on stage, loving the reaction that people are singing along as the squawking goes on in relation to the particular song that Kerry Katona is attempting to sing. Once again, the base behaviours of Katie Price writ large, as she, the narcissist that she is, exploits her disabled son. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.